The small, sun-soaked town of Hillcrest adored Pastor Alex Foster. With a smile that could calm storms and a passion for the gospel that drew hundreds to his sermons, Alex was a pillar in the community. His wife, Jalen, was equally loved. Kind, graceful, and always supportive, she was the light of the church's women's ministry. Together they seemed untouchable. But beneath the surface of Alex's warm smile and tender heart lay a deeply buried darkness. One Sunday afternoon, after delivering a moving sermon on forgiveness, Alex retreated to his office. The congregation slowly trickled out, leaving behind an air of contentment. Alex shut the door, locking himself away from the world. His eyes fell on the stack of mail in his desk drawer, letters he had yet to open. There it was, a letter that sent a cold shiver down his spine. The inmate's name scrawled on the envelope was one he could never forget, Phillip Weston. The man who had shot his father 20 years ago after a church fundraiser. A man about to be executed. Alex's hands trembled as he opened the letter.
Pastor Foster, I am to be executed next month, and before I meet my end, I need to see you. I beg for your forgiveness. Please, find it in your heart to meet with me. Sincerely, Phillip Weston.
His heart pounded with rage. Memories of his father's murder, the cash box robbery, the trial, the unforgivable act that had torn his family apart, flooded his mind. The letter slipped from his fingers. Jalen entered the room and noticed Alex's distant expression.
Alex? What's wrong?
She asked gently. Without a word, Alex handed her the letter. As she read, her face softened.
Maybe this is your chance to finally let go and forgive him,
she suggested.
I will never forgive that man.
Alex snapped, his eyes blazing with anger.
He took my father from me, and now he's asking for my forgiveness? No way, I hate him.
Alex,
Jalen whispered, her heart aching for him.
You preach forgiveness every Sunday. What about God's mercy? He forgave us even when we didn't deserve it.
I don't want to hear it!
Alex yelled, slamming his fist on the desk.
Don't talk to me about forgiveness.
Word spread quickly. Church members began to whisper, questioning how their beloved pastor, the very man who taught them to forgive, could refuse to practice what he preached. The tension escalated when Phillip Weston's elderly mother, frail and desperate, came to one of Alex's Bible studies. She knelt before him, begging for him to see her son before his execution.
I will not.
Alex replied coldly, his heart hardened like stone.
Leave now, Mrs. Weston.
The congregation groaned from disbelief. After that Bible study, those pews began to seat less and less followers. Weeks passed, and Alex's inner turmoil grew darker. He distanced himself from Jalen, locking himself in his office for hours. His drinking increased. A glass of whiskey became 2, then 3. His sermons lost their warmth and sincerity. One night, as Jalen prayed quietly in their bedroom, Alex stormed in, furious.
Stop wasting your time with all that praying,
he shouted.
It's worthless!
She looked up at him, tears welling in her eyes.
Alex, please, I'm praying for you.
Without warning, he slapped her across the face, knocking her to the ground.
I said stop!
He growled, dragging her by the arm to the crawl space under the stairs. Jalen's heart shattered, her body trembling with fear. She had never seen this side of Alex before, this angry, violent animal. He locked her in the crawl space and berated her with cruel words, calling her weak for her faith. The next day, while Alex was at the church, Jalen called a friend and packed her bags. She fled to safety, but even in her pain, she prayed for Alex's soul. Meanwhile, Alex continued to spiral. One evening, after finishing some church business, he stopped at a gas station. While filling up his tank, 3 men attacked him, robbing him of his wallet and leaving him beaten and unconscious. He woke up in the hospital, his body bruised and broken. But something else happened while he was there. Something that shook him to his core. As he drifted in and out of consciousness, Alex found himself in a strange amber-colored room. The walls moved like ocean waves, and the stench of sulfur filled the air, making him gag. He stumbled forward only to fall through the floor and land in a pit of dirt. All around him, people screamed in agony, flames flickering in the distance. He was in hell. Terror gripped his soul as he screamed for help, calling out to Jesus.
Jesus, please help me.
He screamed. Then a massive hand reached down, grabbing him by the shirt and lifting him into a bright white room. There stood Jesus, his face filled with sorrow.
Alex,
He said, his voice calm but firm.
I don't like how you've treated your wife, my daughter. I don't like how you've ignored Philip's request for forgiveness. You must walk in love, mercy, and forgiveness, just as I have done for you.
Tears flowed down Alex's face as he fell to his knees.
I'm sorry, Lord. I'll do better. I'll forgive, but it's not easy. If I forgive Philip, it's like he's getting away with taking my father from me. I miss my dad, Jesus.
I understand, my son. But if you don't forgive that man, you are putting trust in yourself and not me. I am the one who will heal you. You can't heal yourself. Look at what has already happened, because you choose to walk in unforgiveness. Do you really want to cause more problems for yourself and others?
No, Lord, I don't.
He woke up in the hospital, Jalen by his side. His heart softened, and he immediately told the nurse to call the police. He was ready to turn himself in for spousal abuse. Alex spent 6 months in jail, during which time he found favor with the staff and began ministering to his fellow inmates. He rediscovered his purpose, realizing that forgiveness wasn't just a sermon, it was a lifestyle. As the end of his sentence neared, he was asked to perform last rites for a prisoner scheduled for execution. The prisoner was Phillip Weston. Phillip confessed everything, the affair he had with Alex's mother, how she had asked him to steal the church cash box for money to buy a dress, how the gun went off by accident. Tears filled Philip's eyes as he spoke of his regret and asked for Alex's forgiveness. Alex never knew his mother had an affair with Philip all those years ago. What hurt even worse was that it all came about because of a dress his father said he couldn't afford.
His life was lost over a dress?
Alex asked in his head. Even in that moment, he realized he not only had to forgive Philip, but his mother as well. He felt the weight he had carried for so long suddenly lift off his chest and his heart soften.
I forgive you, Philip,
he said, embracing the man who had caused him so much pain. Philip's execution came and Alex walked with him to the chamber. As the drugs were administered, Philip gave Alex a small, grateful nod before closing his eyes forever. Moments later, Alex saw both his father and Philip in the spiritual realm, laughing and hugging. They waved at him before walking into heaven together. A few days later, Alex was pardoned. As he returned to Hillcrest, God gradually restored everything to him: his marriage, his church, and even a new addition to their small family. Through pain, betrayal, and ultimate forgiveness, Alex's journey came full circle. He had learned that grace wasn't just a gift to be given. It was a healing power that could restore even the most broken of hearts and impossible-looking situations.